the Please Don't Watch This podcast. I am your host, Nintendo Wiimote, and joining me today, as always, is
I'm Dreamcast controller, and we're
Dreamcast
joined
controller.
with a special guest.
Yeah,
I want
special.
to be the Wii U Pro Controller.
There he is. Okay, that's Chris. Let's clarify for realsies. This is episode.
Well,
it's been a while, and I don't think 19 uploaded, but you know what's going on. Am I roboting?
Yeah, you roboted
Yes.
for a second. Please say that again.
What was I saying? Welcome to podcast 20. It's been a while. We didn't upload 19.
It's been a month and a half, I think, since the last podcast.
And today's topics are basically just going to be like our days, and maybe Chris can chime in too with his own day. But I feel like we have a lot on the plate, you know, and it's hard to get Chris to say anything just because it's like, well, no, it's not hard because he talks pretty well. But I'm trying to say, what's the time frame for him to talk about his day? Because we're going back months or so.
I don't know.
Are you guys going over like 60 days?
Yeah,
each?
we're gonna go over each day individually. That's how we always do it.
Yes.
Oh, if only I knew. I would write down some notes.
Wow, you'd be more ahead of us than we are.
All right, Carl, hit it off because you've had a project going on. People have been curious about it.
I do have a project going on. I'd like to have some music to play first. If you give me just a second, I was supposed to do that. I'm actually gonna go ahead and load up the shovel.
Yo.
See.
Oh, now Chris is going.
Yeah, that looks good. Just put that.
I said, hey,
Hey.
oh,
Oh.
hey.
Okay, hopefully that's not
I don't know
super
what
duper
you.
loud.
Oh, I thought you were doing Parappa for a little.
For the people that are awesome and are joining us live, let me know if that is too loud. Otherwise, I will turn it down or maybe even turn it up, depending on how you guys are feeling. But yeah, okay, so
Yeah, welcome to another disorganized podcast. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we do it.
That's the title of the podcast.
oh, Dolly missed the intro. I'm sorry, Dolly. You missed out. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess we'll just get into it. I feel like mine's probably going to be the very longest of it all. So if you guys actually want to go first, and I'll kind of talk last, because I actually did write out a whole pile of notes and everything on what I've done for the past 4 weeks as far as not being really available for streams and stuff. But we'll make Speed go first, actually, because Speed has been talking amazingly about his new lifestyle change. There's been two things that have happened. Number one, Speed hates streaming, and number two, Speed has moved out and is now living the life
hating streaming. So yeah, I'm back in college. So I was at I mentioned it before. I had basically a gap year, transferred over. And it's safe here, I feel.
Safe?
I don't know. That's my main concern. Moving, like, is this a safe environment? I feel safe.
My main concern was noise.
Oh, actually, it's fine. I did buy some. What do you call it? Those like little divoted things that you put on the wall panels.
Oh, the foam things?
Yeah, I bought that.
My entire door has that on it.
You mean sound dampeners?
Soundproofing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I bought that. Anyway, let's start way back. Wait, how long ago? Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was going for a biology degree. I changed to sociology. That's what I've been doing recently. And this move's been interesting. I posted some pictures on the Discord. I don't think I gave it to Carl or anything. Wait, no, I did. How do I go about this? I should have taken notes, dude.
Yeah, you should.
Anyway,
now you're not prepared.
I've gone to IKEA 3 times now.
That's a lot.
And I am sick of putting pegs into wooden things.
But how are the hot dogs?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, actually, I had a Sunday.
Do they sell hot dogs at IKEA?
They sell hot
IKEA
dogs.
food is the best.
I thought it was
It's
just
cheap, too.
weird Swedish food that I probably wouldn't have liked.
No. Big mistake.
Let me look up the IKEA menu here because I got
I'll keep going though. But yeah,
the kids menu,
we're
perfect.
looking at new digs here, a new setup and all that. I think I'll still be able to stream, but college is pretty intensive. I've been writing like an essay a day or so, so that's how it's been
a lot. That's too much essay.
Yeah, really.
You might notice I don't really chat in the thing as much as I used to, just because it's like, okay, so do I type out my essay or do I type a stupid thing to say to Carl?
Type
Obviously.
an essay. in
do
the
both is what I do.
Not to stop the train here.
No, go ahead,
but,
go ahead. Tell me about IKEA.
I'm looking at the kids menu for IKEA, and
Well, I have a kids menu.
because that's probably the only thing I'd probably be able to eat at IKEA. For whatever reason, the website's broken for me, and the only thing I loaded up is meatball, just singular meatball, nothing else.
I
Thought-
want
They do
that
sell
meatball.
meatballs.
I
You
thought
can
I'd-
even buy them
thought
and
I'd
cook
just-
them at home.
Thought I'd just share that with you guys. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continue. You were talking about your.
But yeah, so I moved with my sister too because she works in the city that I am residing in. And I don't want to be specific. Sorry, but
Chicago.
He lives in the city of
Yes.
California. Okay.
the California, yeah, yeah. It's hard to say, man. I should have prepared for this. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of. There's a lot of things that's been going on.
Just freestyle.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Yo, IKEA, I go.
Okay, so maybe we can help you out here.
Yeah, thank
How is the new place? Tell us about the place.
It's a 2-story, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
So
And
you're in a
it,
house, right? Or you're in an
No,
apartment?
it's a townhouse. So
Okay.
basically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I punch my wall, my neighbor could probably hear that. But like, I don't know. The sound has been questionable because sometimes I don't hear nothing. Like, and my neighbor said they didn't hear us hammering, right? But while I was hammering, I heard my neighbor sneeze. So
That's
it's
weird.
like, yeah, you know, it's like,
You're lying.
who can I trust? The walls? They
I
have
mean, if
eyes,
you can
dude.
hear them sneezing, that's kind of thin, isn't it?
Yeah, but then they can't. I can't hear any of them after that sneeze. I haven't heard anything.
Oh, so they have supersonic sneezes.
Yeah, I guess they sneezed in the right way. You know, when the moon hits your eye like a big sneezing pie.
I mean, like
It's amore.
most apartments or the apartment that I lived in, even the dorms that I lived in, like those walls were paper thin themselves. So, like if you really
Oh,
want to,
no.
if you really want to move into, I guess, more expensive, then you can get the nicer walls. But
This is a pretty pricey. I mean, it's how much is it? I think we paid $1,700.
That's about mine,
For rent?
actually.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty notable. But I
Do-
mean,
do you live in a townhouse, Chris, or just an apartment?
No, it's like quad. It's like a big house, and it's like quad. Maybe that's not the best way to describe it. They're apartments, but there are 4 apartments per building.
Yeah. So 4
Right.
bedroom.
kind of like mine. Yeah.
Oh,
so that,
you know, I get what you're saying.
Mine
Okay.
is like a townhouse though. But yeah, that's. I'm gonna make a video of my old room, and then I'm still in the process of moving some stuff over. I didn't want to bring everything here yet, you know.
Bring
just
the
'cause,
Wii.
yeah, I'll bring the Wii. So then we play Fortune Street. I guess that's the only reason. Well, actually, I want to put on the Wii U. Let's not get sidetracked about Fortune Street. So school's been pretty intensive though. I like the campus. People seem nice. I think that's important. You know, feeling comfortable. But I always have to park far. Parking has always sucked.
Yep.
You know, and I thought about it. Like, you know, during my years at community college, like I would get morning classes, and I know that everyone's like, ugh, why?
Ew.
When
But now that I have afternoon classes, it's kind of like, okay, well, first I can't stream anymore too much, and 2, it's
Yeah.
like parking sucks worse.
When I was back in college, the student parking lot, which was garbage in the furthest corner of the whole university,
Right.
you pull in and there's all the teacher parking because they get priority up front, and then you go back, and then eventually you get into the student lot, and the front half of it is not concrete, asphalt, and painted lines and everything. When you get to, if there's no parking up there, you get to go to the back part of the lot, which is just a big, gigantic gravel free-for-all lot.
Oh no.
It was
No lines.
no lines.
Oh.
there is overflow parking at my campus, like it's on dirt.
Well,
But, I mean,
it got worse because like when it snowed, people,
I see.
yeah, you could like make heads or tails of where the heck to park. So you like on a nice, I guess, spring or fall day when it's sunny and there's no like weather or anything, you can see people can actually line up their cars properly. When it snows, it's like, oh, there's the curve right there, and there's some people that just don't know how to park, and it's not good. But yeah, I know
Yeah.
the troubles of, you know, especially like there's some days where I go to park and it's the very, 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 very last corner spot, and it's like almost a quarter mile just to walk from there to the
I
building.
mean, yeah, I get good exercise though. That's a good walk,
Boot up
man.
Pokemon Go.
I don't have room on my phone for that. I know you've been playing it. Oh, I should also mention, you know how I used to have like a lawn chair. I have a legit chair this time. Like it's what is it?
Thank goodness.
Skorzenvlorg or something. Sorry if that's offensive. That's just I remember the name of it.
A good chair is really important because like
Yes,
you're spending so much time in it.
But yeah, I'm gonna buy a leg rest or something because my I keep using this Amazon box. It's not good. It's not good. I sell a lot of boxes everywhere. I haven't unpacked everything still.
I use a drum throne for a leg rest myself.
Drum?
Yeah,
Oh.
so I used to have this. I still do. I have this really horrible drum throne, and unfortunately, I think I broke it because it just didn't support my weight. It was like a basic beginner chair, and it had long extended its life of ever being a chair.
Man,
So-
the Burger King and the Dairy Queen on the drum throne.
So eventually, I was like, it's time for a new chair to be put by the drums. So I was like, what can I do with this? And I'm like, oh, I know. I'll use it as a footrest because it's the perfect size and everything.
Oh yeah, I did the same. I broke a chair's back thing, and I just used that as a footrest.
Yeah. That's about it.
You
Too.
gotta get innovative, dude. One of my big fears is that I don't think we're allowed to really drill holes into the wall because, like, you know,
You probably can.
I can, but it's like it feels like it could be a hassle to fix the wall after.
No, you
If-
just
if one really-
spackle or whatever.
It's all
I suppose
dependent.
we're gonna look into it, but like I bought this really tall CD shelf, and it's like, okay, I can't put this anywhere except my closet because I'm scared during an earthquake it's gonna kill me. That would be a sad way to go for me, at least.
Yeah, it is California.
I also did end up buying a new bookshelf. I mentioned it earlier. I don't know if it was in Carl's Discord or mine, but basically, I couldn't fit my books vertically, so I had to lay them on the side, and that's not cool. Who's gonna look at that? And be
Was
like,
it really
yeah,
a
that's
bookshelf then, or like?
No, it's
Were there
well,
any books that
you
could fit vertically?
Yeah, some, but I bought. My sister got me the Metal Gear Solid, art book 1 to 4. It wouldn't go up. The Dark Souls 3 book, nope.
Well, I mean, those sound different, like big old guide and art books and stuff.
But that's what I wanted to show.
I guess
So that's yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of manga, so I mean,
That's the small
now
stuff.
I can. Now I can though. Because even back then I didn't have a bookshelf, so that's the big thing. My room doesn't have a bookshelf at home. I couldn't even showcase my CDs in a good fashion.
CDs.
Yeah, I buy albums.
Weirdo.
Probably like my only unique collection. Wait, why? What's going on?
I figured you would love CDs, Carl.
I'm
Like just having physical.
I'm like opposite when it comes to music. Like I don't.
I like the manuals. That's the big thing.
You
I get
know
to
what?
see
The biggest thing is that like I have so much limited space as it is. If I were to
Yeah.
start collecting like music or even DVDs of movies and stuff, like
Totally, I get it.
You'll be on hoarders.
I just
You're gonna have to store things in your bathroom.
yeah, it's not good, and just
Oh no, but you can get books in your book collections in the bathroom.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and then if you take a
that's,
shower,
see, that's the
molding-
thing already is that I do have books and they're not in a good spot.
Was it Curious George?
No, I'm talking about like all the I used to have a lot of Curious George books, thank you very much. But that being said, I'm
Used to.
talking about like strategy guides and stuff.
Sorry, Chris. Do you know the context of that? Carl was like, "Man, I'm so happy. I read a book today," and everyone was like, "What?" And I think he was like, "Curious George."
Yeah, I was. It made me happy.
I mean, I feel like the strategy guides are worse because like you need a strategy guide to beat this
I'm
game.
not
No,
fronting
I don't-
on
I don't
Curious
buy this-
George, though.
I don't buy the strategy guides to beat games. I just buy the strategy guides just to buy them because they look cool. Like, if you
Yeah,
look
like-
through a strategy guide without the intention of wanting to beat the game with the strategy guide, it's just like a bunch of pictures and some random words on there, and that's like okay for me.
It's kind of like an art book with information.
And more importantly,
Yeah.
I would probably say 1 out of 3 strategy guides comes with a nice, pretty poster, which is the full intention of buying them.
Mm.
So, That's why I have so many books that are
Is
just.
is that where you got your Skyrim thing?
No, the
poster?
Skyrim map. So the Kalos map did come with the strategy guide, if I remember correctly. The Skyrim maps came with the collector's edition of Elder Scrolls, which is all of Elder Scrolls 1 through 5. Which I haven't touched any of those.
Touched at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still on your docket thing on the announcements or whatever. Where is it scheduled?
It's gone.
Oh, you removed it. Oh, okay.
I did remove it. I was like, this it's not working.
But okay, back to the apartment. The only thing we're really missing now is a sofa for
And a
a
weed.
living room and the weed, the weed. But I don't know. I'm liking it so far. I'm hoping that we'll eventually settle in. We're still not settled in, so half my time is working on an essay, or reading the assigned materials, and then the other one is building a thing or not. So, but I've built almost everything. I need to buy. I need to build one more thing that I got.
You know what you
So-
could do? You could stream yourself building the furniture.
Yeah, that'd be a
I
great
wish I had a
stream.
webcam. I have a webcam on my laptop, but it's like 2 frames per second. It's not good.
Even better.
Yeah, even bad. I suppose you're right. No, I feel like I'm not very camera friendly. Johnny and I wanted to record a. This is so embarrassing to say. We wanted to record a channel update, right? But we did it. We did it. We talked about everything. It's like, oh yeah, even Kevin's streaming. And then I looked at the footage, and I was like, Johnny, I look ugly.
But you take so many pictures of yourself. Like there's one on the.
But that's because I can
screen
edit
there.
it and control it.
Speed's
I
a,
don't. I'm not. What do you call it? I'm not video friendly. I think.
Speed's a Photoshop model.
Yeah.
He's a fake.
I'd be out there, Maybe I'm not even real. Maybe I have an AI with advanced learning and de-learning. But
Fake speed.
what else is there to talk about? I did briefly talk about it. There's a lot of people, asking for things here. Like we went to Bed Bath and Beyond, and right when we got out, this
I've
guy.
never been in one of those before.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
like time stops when you go in there. It's a
This-
different universe.
This isn't the movie Click.
You go beyond. Anyway,
Click is bad.
a guy came out just I guess behind a tree or something, and then he was propositioning. He was like, "Hey man, things have been kind of tough, for me. This is exactly how he talked." And he was like, and then he just talks about how he's been eating a lot of cheese snacks. I talked about this on the
He's living the life.
Lopez. Yeah, and then my sister didn't understand what he was asking for, but I knew immediately he was asking for food.
You get him cheese snacks?
He kept talking about cheese though. He called himself the repository of cheese. It was I was a little uncomfortable, but I was able to end the conversation with, "Hey, we just moved here and we've only been eating snacks too." I was like, "All right, see you later, man," and he kind of shuffles away behind the tree. I feel like I encountered an NPC. He has an important quest.
Hopefully
missed
you don't
out.
have to deal with that often. Like, was this New York City?
But still, I think the city's fairly safe because I will admit I come from, I guess, like middle class or something. The city I'm hometown from, it's pretty safe. So I think that was my main concern, but I feel comfortable still, and I think that's really all I can ask for.
Just still lock your doors.
Yeah, my bedroom doesn't have a lock on it, so I put a box of all my CDs that I haven't put up yet.
Oh, perfect. A use for them.
Yeah, as if that would save me if someone was actually going to threaten me.
To buy you 2
Oh no,
seconds.
his CDs! I'm a deep sleeper. I'm gonna be dead.
They would step on them and then cut their foot.
No.
No, do you know how expensive that was?
I bought those for $3 at LA.
That's cheap for CDs, I feel like, these days.
So I'll at least give a general sense of where I'm located. I'm farther from LA than I originally was.
So he's
Wow.
not even, he's not
Yeah.
even LA anymore. He's just
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny. I told you, I'm not even, my city wasn't even in the LA County. So that gives you some hints. The person who probably knows the most where I live is Nove, because he lives close to me, actually. Maybe we'll get a teamwork going on. I don't know.
Co-op stream.
I feel, how do you guys feel about that? If, like, okay, Carl or Chris, if I visited you guys and we actually, like, you know, met up, do you feel like being in person is definitely gonna make it a little more awkward?
I think it
feel
would
like
make it
so.
easier.
Perfectly fine.
Easier?
Yeah, it would make it a lot
Okay.
easier because then I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, like, oh, the Discord connection's not working, or like, or
Well,
is he
you
loud
already
enough,
have to
or
deal
is
with
he
that without
quiet
the
enough?
Discord. You got frame drops.
Well, yeah, that's true, but still.
Well, I'm just talking more about meeting physically. I think we talked about this during the Hexacon idea, but like if I saw you on the street, would you be like, oh, cool, you know?
Plus, there's the
Because
other
I feel
thing.
like I'm a little anxious.
There's the other thing
to
too that
myself.
like we don't have to worry about like what your computer can run either. So it's kind of just like, hey, let's look at all the games that we can play. Cool, we can play this one. Do we need compat? Oh no, we don't need compatibility. We can just load it in.
I
We're
love
good to
that
go.
Carl's taking this from a streaming perspective. I
Yeah,
kind of
right.
took it more as like a, you know, what if
Hey,
we
want to
met
hang
up?
out and
Yeah,
go
hang out.
That's
to-
because
Want to get some brewski?
it shouldn't be awkward. You just show up and play video games. Gosh darn.
Actually, we were close to that at one point because I was in Chicago, and then you were angry at me for not visiting.
Oh yeah, you were in Chicago, and then I was like, come on, we should hang out. I'll like go have lunch or something, and you're like, nah, fam.
Well, I think it was not
Oh,
because of my fam.
Yeah, it was.
I guess it's just because I'm a little more antisocial than not antisocial. What is it? Introvert? Yeah, there we go. I feel like I'd be like, oh no, it's Carl in real life. Uh-oh. He could
Yeah.
punch me if I say something stupid.
He would never.
He wouldn't hurt a fly. What was that? I just smacked the fly in my room.
Hit you over the head with an acoustic guitar.
Oh no. Oh no, don't hit me with the guitar Troy gave you.
Oh yeah. all
That thing would
jaggedy.
kill me. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a big difference between you know, online interaction over physical, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking of things because I've actually just never met anyone online in real life. I think that's the big thing.
You'd be surprised because I went to too many games, and I have a
Right.
group of online friends who also went there, and that's pretty much why I went there.
So
It was just natural.
my
I went
understanding.
to AX and I never actually got to meet them though, which was a little bit of a shame.
Oh.
Sorry, Carl, I cut you off.
My best advice would be just like it's gonna be awkward for like 30 seconds, and then someone's gonna make a stupid joke, and then you're gonna laugh, and
Yeah.
then it's perfectly fine.
What if I pee my pants accidentally?
So you don't wash your hands.
Well, we're all gonna laugh. You're not.
Speed has left Hexagon Inc.
Forever.
Because he peed his pants.
We don't know where he went. The only lead we have is that he's far.
The trail of pee. That's our only lead.
I mean, aren't
Where
you,
we going with
isn't
this?
that what your name is? Pea Slasher
No, it's Pea Splasher.
or Pea Splasher?
Chris
Oh.
loves it. Chris loves
Yeah, I love it. I'm eating.
it. If I think of more things, though, I'll let you guys know about my week. But I mean, I think that's basically it. The whole moving process has been pretty intensive. I thought I'd have more to say, but I don't. Oh, the floor is carpet, by the way. Is that a good thing?
What?
What?
The floor is carpet, like acoustic wise.
I
that
like
sounds
carpet.
normal. Oh.
I wish my room was carpet. When we had to tear up the carpet, I was super sad.
All right. Hey, say the exclamation point. Save Carl. Explanation. Sorry.
That doesn't,
Exclamation.
that
Yeah.
doesn't work anymore.
It did for a while. That
Yeah,
was so
for
funny.
months.
Anyway, how about you, Chris? How have you been lately?
Walking dogs, not streaming.
All right, Carl. First, you have something else, Chris. Like you don't get to talk often on the stream stuff.
Well, there's this one new dog that I have. It's like this small dog that hates me. Like,
Oh yeah, you're talking. On
I
Twitter, think.
I can't even pet this dog because then it growls, shows its teeth, and sometimes lashes back. But fortunately, my hand's far away enough. And the only way to get him up is I have this pulley system with his leash, where my one arm is the fulcrum, and then because I can't get too close to him, and then I just pull him up, and sometimes
And
I
suplex him.
have to do it like 10 times over the span of 10 minutes because he just slouches back down. I'm like, please, I just need you to go to the bathroom and then I'll leave you alone because he hates it.
He hates it.
I'm surprised is it just you or is it with everybody?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I mean, some dogs are like super protective, and when you enter their domain to basically walk them or whatever, they get all like testy, like you're not allowed to be here because I say so.
Oh, I see. Like,
Because my old dog Shadow was like that. He we couldn't let anybody into the house. We always had to go lock him in a different room because he would growl and try to bite people because he had that protective nature about him.
yeah, see, I think it might just be me because I've been having to get him up to go to the bathroom, so I'm not sitting there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably completely okay with his owner.
Well, yeah. No, normally they are okay with their owner, but that's like who they're only okay with. So I'm
Yeah.
surprised that you are being tasked. Like, I feel like that's asking for trouble from the owner's sake.
I mean, don't let this get out, but I kind of want to keep the job for the money, even if the dog hates me.
Well, yeah,
So-
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, yeah, of course, but you shouldn't also have to bring, gloves, falconer's glove, or falcon's gloves.
No, seriously,
Gauntlets.
you're probably
Gauntlets.
saying that as a joke, but I genuinely thought about it. To
No,
pick the dog up.
I wouldn't be I would totally be supporting of that, but it's just like I don't get people who think that's okay. Like when I had Shadow, we had to like do serious things to make sure people would be okay if we're not going to be the ones to take care of him for an extended amount of time.
All right, yeah.
So, like Kea would be perfectly fine. The only thing you would probably struggle with the most with Kea is that like she has a heavy pull.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yeah, and that's like the only thing really. Like it's one of the kind of things where it's, if you're not paying attention, you might break your wrist.
Was Shadow okay with Troy? Asked Nove.
So, no,
No.
no, he wasn't.
What about Kaya? Kaya, definitely, right?
Kale likes everybody. There's nobody that she doesn't. The only time she doesn't like anybody is if you are in the vicinity.
Take her
of-
bread away.
Yeah, basically that. If she's got food.
Don't touch.
You know what, Carl? I'm curious. Do you have a pet sitter?
No. We're pretty good at just being able to make sure she's properly walked and everything without needing a pet sitter.
Could she like hold it in for half a day?
I walk her. Well, she gets walked 4 times a day.
Yeah, that's normal.
So the first walk is in the morning, and I don't do that walk. That's my parents do that walk, thankfully. So they'll do that at about 6 a.m. Afterwards, when I get up around like 11, I then do the walk then. And then I do another walk around 5 o'clock. And then I do my final walk, usually after I stream, so around midnight-ish. And
That's a lot of walks.
yeah, it's pretty impressive, especially because she goes to the bathroom on every one of those walks. Where this dog generates that much, I have no idea, but she is a trooper in that department. So
Man, welcome to the P-cast.
Yeah, really. I mean, I was gonna ask like if you had a pet sitter, like how closely you try to monitor them and stuff, because I hate those people.
No, I don't think we'll ever need a pet sitter for her. I think at least not at the moment. Even with my like profession and stuff, I obviously I do half the profession is streaming, so I'm just here already. So I'm always available, like if she ever did need something. But the other half of it, I'm hardly out as it is, so just more practicing on the inside. But if I did ever need a dog sitter, I would probably be okay with anybody. I could have Troy walk her, because that's what Troy does.
Walk and nothing else.
Yeah.
Fine dining and breathing is all he knows.
Not streaming though.
Soon,
So,
maybe.
what has stopped you from streaming lately yourself? Because I already said mine's school.
I mean, technically Monster Hunter. Like in my brain, the Monster Hunter streams with Gavin don't really count as streams because I'm not like progressing through a new game that I want to experience, but it is a new game that I am progressing through, but it's Monster Hunter. So it's kind of weird, you know what I mean?
Right, because it's a lot of back and forth in Monster Hunter.
It's like,
You're also grinding out for materials, right?
yeah, it's like it's more of the same game that I already played, you know. So
Just
I
with
guess
a
that's
different
why.
skin of ice.
Yeah, it's like there are new monsters and stuff, but the gameplay is still the same. You just spin around and win.
Chris and I were talking about it earlier, and we're looking really forward to this Monster Hunter. Hopefully, it'll happen next week, folks.
It
Oh,
should
yeah, for sure.
should happen next week. I don't see why it wouldn't. I just
I'm really curious about the weapons that we're picking because I asked Chris, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this and this," and I was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of this and this," and then we're both wondering how you're gonna go about it.
Yeah, do you have an idea for a weapon, Carl?
I suggested to him ones, but I mean,
I mean, like when I played Monster Hunter last, I usually used the great sword.
I wouldn't mind. Well, because you're gonna do a solo stream first, right?
Yeah, probably. I
supposedly.
don't know how.
You have
how I'll go
enough
about
time
that.
to try out each weapon, I think.
Yeah, like
I don't
you
think
could
it'd be boring.
Yeah, you can make it work for 2 hours if you do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely fun to try out new weapons because since the game's a lot more arcadey, you know, it's a little more accessible to, you know, switch between weapons. Not so much now I think about it, but you know, it's there.
I'll figure it
I
out.
tried out Hunting Horn recently. Everyone was joking that I should play it. Maybe I will.
How does that even
We'll see.
work?
You make a song and then you cast it and you play it and then people get the buffs.
And then you can hit them with the monster with the horn so you actually do damage. But I don't know how
Yeah.
useful it is with only 3 people.
It sounds like it's boring, if anything.
No, I mean, well, it is a
Not
support
much.
class. Consider this though, it is the least played weapon.
I think that's why I always hated like medic or any support class really, because I always just thought it was boring. It's like, okay, I healed the team. Don't get to do.
Well,
any
I
cool
don't know.
stuff.
I think being support is definitely important. It could be boring, but I mean, a good game will make a support fun to play still.
I mean, I just
No
now thought
voice
about it.
mercy. So
Like the hunting horn would be perfect for Carl.
because
But
he
I'm
plays
a
music
musician.
and
Yeah,
and
exactly.
deals a lot of damage though, Carl.
But bards are
wouldn't say-
dumb in Dungeons and Dragons.
They're not dumb. Don't they have high intelligence? Oh, Katie's not here.
Yeah, I do like running in full speed fighting.
He's picking the great sword.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like the dual blades if you ask me.
Full speed doesn't mean fast, Chris. It just means however fast I can run.
I was gonna say because you aren't gonna be swinging that thing very quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the hammer isn't really quick, but the hammer's actually faster. I slept on the hammer for a while.
The hammer and the great sword actually have the highest DPS in the game.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves with Monster Hunter.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
I'm
there.
excited.
Yeah. I'll probably
You'll see it.
I'll probably do the stream probably next Saturday since I don't have stuff anymore on the weekends at the moment.
Woo!
At the moment.
Because
Oh, the perfect segue.
It is the perfect segue. I guess we'll get straight into it. So, 5 weeks ago.
first a word from my sponsor. Okay.
Or I guess 4.5 weeks. No, I guess it'd be technically almost 5 weeks ago now to the point. I got. I was at a concert. For just a community band that I play in once a week, and one of the guys asked me, he's like, "Do you know any bass players in the area that would be able to do this musical?" And I said to him, I'm like, "Well, I play bass, but I don't really do it professionally, I guess, at this point." So he's like, "It's not the hardest music ever to be played." So I said, "All right, let me see the music. I'll take a look at it and everything." And I looked at the page, and I don't know what came over me, but I said yes, despite the fact that I looked at half that music and I'm like, I cannot play this music. I just cannot. I don't know how. And with bass it's different because I don't know how to or like I said, at this point, I didn't know really how to read music all that well. I could have read music. It's the same. It's bass clef music or lower clef music for some of you, and basically reads the same thing as tuba, just on a completely different instrument. So I was versatile and just not enough so on a bass guitar. But regardless of that, I said yes, I'll give it a shot, and I'm really glad I did because this was a paying gig that I got to attend to. So that night, after I got the full amount of music, I spent about 8 to 10 hours through the night and through the morning into the afternoon practicing 100 pages of music for the musical The Addams Family.
I forgot it was the Addams Family. Oh,
Yeah.
you never said it was the Addams Family.
And I hadn't really said it was The Addams Family.
I thought you did at one point, but I'm probably just deja vuing myself. I've just been at this place before.
So it actually, for those of you that haven't I don't know who's really into musicals. Like, do you guys even like musicals?
I
feel-
was it?
See, I've always felt that I really don't like The Nightmare Before Christmas because I always thought there was too much singing in it. That was my primary beef with it. It was just like this single. I kind of associate that as a musical in a sense. So I feel like if you like that, I feel like you'd be okay with musicals in a sense.
I like Chicago. That's a random one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about movies with songs in them, that's not really my thing. They kind of ruin the pacing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a musical,
Yeah, if
how
it's a
do you feel?
musical, that's like, you're paying to go see that.
Like,
Yeah.
he had it coming. He had it coming. I mixed that with Adam Family. Do you like that?
It was,
Thank you.
it was really different because I only know a little. I never really grew up with the Addams Family, all things considered. So I only knew just a little bit here and there at the end. Like I knew the main song, which was briefly played, I suppose, in this musical. But the musical really was just kind of a completely different thing than what I probably would have expected for the most part of what the Addams Family is. But we'll get into what the musical itself probably in just a moment here. So day one obviously shows up, and I'd like to say my name didn't actually end up in the program because I missed the deadline for being in there by 6 hours.
Wow.
Like, I was really sad. And there's a huge point to why I'm kind of angry at. Now, normally I probably wouldn't have cared, but I'm kind of angry about it, and I'll get to why I'm angry about it. So I have a lot of notes here. Day one shows up, and I show up and I walk into the building. First of all, before even getting into that, the town that it was in is under the biggest construction job I have like seen in a long time. It's like the whole town is just completely just torn up. There's like,
was it a hard drive then?
yeah, it was super hard and it was scary
Ooh.
because there's they cut the road down to resurface it and everything, and you can't cut the manholes out or the maintenance holes or whatever.
Oh,
And
I hate that.
so they were sticking up like almost 6 inches off the ground. So if you're not paying attention, like you could roll over one of those at much faster than you should and either blow out a tire or just like completely destroy your wheel.
I did that to a tiny one when they did that on one of the roads near me, and I genuinely thought the tire like popped or something.
Yeah, it's I don't know. And then like the street that the theater was on, they tore that entirely up, leaving the traffic down to a single lane, like both directions, single lane. The sidewalks were also torn up, and I kid you not, I was terrified to walk over those sidewalks because they put plywood over holes that they dug into. And
I can trust plywood from time to time. but,
I would
you
not
know.
trust plywood with my weight. Ever. Especially when it rains too, then it's really scary.
You know, next to you, jumping up and down. I mean,
Like it's worse because like you get the double whammy because plywood is slippery when it's wet, and
yeah.
plywood's not the most durable thing I find when it's wet. So when you're walking on it and the plywood's just literally bending and with soggy wood like that doesn't need to bend anymore than it is.
You just got a Metal Gear crawl on the floor
That'll probably
with
make
your
it worse.
bass guitar.
Yeah,
Even we distribute the weight.
that'll make it
Did you have
worse.
to bring your own guitar, or did they?
No, most people, I would say almost all people bring in their own instruments.
Makes sense. So then
It's
you
the
feel
only thing you can
comfortable, too.
trust.
Yeah, well, and like stock stuff, I guess, for a lack of a better, or rental stuff, I guess, isn't always the best equipment. So, like, if I'm gonna show up, I want to show up with my good equipment, not whatever crap they have available. But that's fine. Like, that's part of the gigging experience, I guess, is that you show up with your stuff to provide your own sound. But I showed up, and I showed up at the wrong side of the theater because I was completely on the other side of where the pit was actually located. So I walk across the stage, and I look into this theater, and I'm like, oh, this is a really small theater. It's like 196 seats, I think, was in it. So we sold.
Wasn't it? You asking us?
No, I'm just trying to think if or just kind of giving out what I remember. We sold out every show, which was cool.
Holy moly!
We played 4 shows a week, so we did 16 shows throughout the month.
And today was the last one, right?
Today was the last one. The pit. So when you get to the side that the pit was on, there's a little staircase going up. And on the top area, there's a room that is probably the size of a standard townhouse bedroom. Maybe a little bit bigger than that.
Should I measure?
Yeah, Kevin will know.
Give me
I
a
think
moment.
that is.
Let me measure. I don't have a tape measure. I get the picture anyway. It's like this is smaller than my room at home. I should mention.
Yeah,
I don't know if I mentioned
I would say it's
That's
probably
pretty
like maybe
sizable.
maybe a little bit bigger, like the size of a master bedroom kind of size.
Oh,
Give
I
it-
got it. So I'm 6'2". If I lay down on the floor twice, that's like that's how much. Like it's like 13 feet by 13 feet or something. 12 feet. 12 feet.
So, so I'm looking at this place now. I want you to think about it for a second.
I'm
We
thinking.
we had to fit in 2 percussionists, fully with basically 2 drum sets each, or a drum set for each of them, 2 pianists,
with the classical piano, or are we talking like a
synthesizers,
Okay.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Thank God. I was like, okay, you have no room already.
a trumpet player that had also required a flugelhorn, a trombone player that required a bass trombone, a cellist, the bass player, which technically I shouldn't have even been qualified for this job because the part that I played required upright acoustic bass or string bass, electric bass, and a fretless bass.
That's a lot of bass.
That's a lot. Like I told them, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't need that we're okay with not needing any of these because I would not have been able to fit those up there. And then there was 2 reed books, which means that the 2 players each had to play a plethora of reeded instruments. Or reed 1 had flute, piccolo, clarinet. Reed 2 had clarinet, bass clarinet, and saxophone, and a violinist. Plus room for the conductor, and we had to set up microphones up there.
What about the triangle guy?
He was part of the percussion section.
Hoping he has his own like big stand thing that had to fit.
So we were jammed. Like I made the executive decision because everybody got a chair except for me because I was number 1. I was the last person to be there, and number 2, if I would have taken a chair, we would have had less room and would have been more cramped than we could have been, and then it would have gotten even more hotter than it probably was up there. Oh, and a guitarist too. I can't forget the guitarist because that's a whole story and a half.
Oh,
But yeah, I showed up after I had practiced my butt off. And I guess I did okay because everybody was like, "Oh, he's so good," and I'm like, "I'm not good. That was not good. That was subpar and the most honest thing." But you know, whatever. It's just, I'll take it, I guess.
right.
So now I bring this up because there's still it correlates to what I was getting at later. what can we go into next?
Are you going to your index on your notes?
No, yeah, I'm looking through my notes on what's better to talk about. The pit actually was. I always kind of feel awkward when I gaze upon my fellow musicians and their age group. And when I play with people that are like 10 to 15 years older than me, I always am concerned. Because like
they look veteran, is that?
Yeah, there's the veteran look, and then there's just the whole, how much more experience they have than me. Like, even if I can play the part perfectly fine, like, I'm not old enough to, I guess, understand, that kind of stuff. They were all really nice people. I had no problems with any of them. Even the conductor was super nice. So I just want to clarify that too. But like, there's always just that like fear of when you meet people. And then to make things worse, like every time I meet somebody or meet a group that's like the same age as me, then I feel like I have to be better than them or else I'm not qualified to be with them.
I see.
So day one went all right. And as the week, I had to rehearse every day that week, which I was not a huge fan of, but it's just how it is. The more I played the music, the more I realized that everybody else was having just as many struggles as I was. So I felt the time went on, I became more and more comfortable with everybody. I wouldn't say relaxed. It's still trying to make sure that I play perfectly with everybody. But the scariest part too with bass is that it's the tuba. There's a lot of holding the beat down and all that stuff, but it's not as apparent as you would find it with a bass guitar or just the bass part in general. So I knew that when I took this gig, it was going to be a whole nother level for me because of that. There's a lot of times when I'd be the solo instrument or I'd be the lead in, or I was basically controlling how the band would go about things, which it's not something that I've never done before, but it's also just this when you get into a paid gig too, it becomes more intense because you don't want to get fired from the paid gig because then you feel irrelevant, and like you don't want to mess up because it's an important gig when people have to pay to come watch essentially your play or you play in general. So that was the beginning experience of it. But definitely as the weeks went on, I felt more and more confident with playing the music. And I will say my experience as a bass guitar player now has gone up significantly since then. So I'm super glad that I actually did this experience, and I would love to do it again if I ever got a chance to do it.
That's the best thing you could pull out of doing anything, just having experience. I was just curious though, when was the first gig again?
The first gig was, let's see here.
Because it puts things into perspective, I think.
So the first
little time.
So preview night was, which a lot of plays do, is the night before the first actual opening night, and that's like a free show. A lot of the times what they do for that is they invite like either old folks homes or like I don't, for the lack of a better I can't think of a better term to use, but sometimes they'll invite out like mentally challenged kind of people's. If you can jump in with a better term, I'd be happy with that. To come
disabled.
out, the disabled, I guess, to come out for the preview nights. There's a couple of reasons to do it. Number one, it's just a nice thing we can do for those people, and number two, probably for the more actual point of it, is it's a more rowdy audience in a sense. So.
The old people going, woohoo!
No, not so much the old people, but
snapping.
like some of those, those people that have issues, they'll be kind of loud throughout the whole night, and when you can have more interruptions towards the cast, the better it kind of becomes down the road, because they get used to being able to deal with if something happens midway through. So that's kind of why they also invite those people out as well. Like they're probably the best people to cause interruptions in a sense. Like I don't want it to sound like it's a horrible thing why we're inviting them out, because there is good intentions behind it, but that is also just one of the intentions I've learned. People or groups do that.
I mean, I would have thought that it would be like those people would be less critical of your first go through, so you get a nice little kind of practice.
Well, the thing too is that you don't want to be too critical on that first run through, because opening night is always a disaster. There's actually stories of composers who write operas and they will not go to the opening night because they do not want to be there if a disaster happens, because the likelihood of a disaster happening is that opening night.
Right.
So that's why they kind of do the preview nights now, to kind of get them set up and put them in front of an audience, even though it's kind of a dry run of that kind of stuff. But opening night, we had an issue or two. The biggest problem I saw with the play in the beginning is that we just were not rehearsed enough. We put this thing a little together too soon. And I think we could have benefited from probably another week of practice. As much as I didn't want to do another week, it definitely would have helped out a lot. And we didn't really do a lot of rehearsing with like the singers of the musical too, which I would think would have benefited a lot too.
Yeah.
I should also mention how the pit was set up. If it would have worked out perfectly, it would have been super nice, but it was super frustrating, all things considered. We were on the second floor on stage right out on the side there. We ran all of our stuff through microphones to be played through the main house speakers. We had a TV that showed the whole stage, so we could see what was going on with the actors and singers. And the conductor was on camera in front of the stage, so the singers could see, so they could get cues and stuff from us. For the most part, it worked out really well. It's just the problem is that balancing all that audio when we're not able to be in the area where the music is being displayed is a little more frustrating to sync things up sometimes. And a lot of the biggest issues is that, like, with all the cables running around, you get a lot of interference and you get a lot of just general issues from maintenance that needs to happen with electronics and stuff. So our biggest thing that happened a lot of the times was that singers would cut out midway through songs, which would be very difficult if we had to give them a cue. There was a couple times when the conductor just looked at it and she's like, "Go for it. I don't know what else to tell you. Just go." Because what else are we supposed to do if we can't hear? We can't just stop and tell the stage director, like, "Hey, you need to we need to fix this right now before we continue on." So there's always the saying, "The show must go on. The show must go on." So that was a lot of the main issues that we had. There was a couple times with a musical, how it works is that we play, like, I learned 100 pages, and what that means is that there's a lot of pages that are full songs that need to be played, like they're full musical numbers in a sense, and then there's like transitional songs and kind of background music too, and a lot of that has to be synced up really tightly with what's going on within the play itself. So that turns into issues where if actors are moving a little bit faster than they normally are or slower than they normally are, we have to figure out ways where we can keep it so that the music can like reset itself without being obvious to, like, we stopped and we were too slow, we need to start it up again and just play for a little bit longer. So there's like, that's why the conductor is really, really important in a musical as opposed to just being there from normal music. So
was it one show a day? Yeah, right.
It was one show on Friday and Sunday, and then there's 2 shows on Saturday. The Saturday show, we talked about that. The Saturdays were really, really rough. You would get through the first show perfectly fine, then you'd go have lunch, and then you start the second show, and you'd be good up until about the intermission, and then there were 2 acts to each show. The shows lasted about 2.5 hours each. So, and that's with intermission put into there as well. So when you got to that intermission of that second show, was when it really started to kind of just grind down. That's why I didn't stream last night. I came home and I was tired. I didn't want to do anything else. So yeah. So after we made it through on that first Friday, and as time kind of went on, we started to hammer on a lot more stuff. And thankfully, throughout the weeks, I did not have to go to rehearsal, so that was much more better. So I was talking a little bit, continuing on here, about why it was important that I brought up why I still felt that I sucked, but even though that everybody was super happy with me and all that stuff. Let me talk to you about the guitar player.
Was it Slash?
So the guitar player did make his
Eric Clapton?
did make it onto the program, and I did not. The guitar player was late a lot of the time.
I see.
The guitar player was not that great. And the real kicker, the guitar player didn't know how to read music.
How?
Was this me?
How did he get in?
Because they were desperate and they needed somebody.
So, how did that go?
Well, I think it's. I love that. So what happened?
So we didn't know.
See what happened.
When you're in that much of pressure for everybody, because everybody else didn't really have that much more time from me, as much as I did. Everybody else is too focused on making, even the conductors, making sure they're hitting all the right meter signature conduction or conductor. What's the term? Making sure they conduct all the proper meters is probably the best way I can put it. All the musicians are making sure they play all their right notes and all that stuff, and making sure they play on time. So we don't get a chance to really listen to the other musicians as much as we do for mistakes. And when we're learning pieces too, we don't know fully what all the other musicians are going to play. So there's a lot of times when, like, you know, we'll be sitting there playing something quiet, and all of a sudden the percussionist will slam a cymbal or something like that, because the music calls for it, though.
Yeah.
Even though it scares the crap out of us because we're not paying attention. So eventually, we found this out because eventually the cellist was getting fed up because he just left his reverb on his guitar like through a whole show once, which sounded horrible. And she ended up just like watching the guitarist try to play, and I was watching him too for a little bit, and I didn't really like think about it, but there was a couple times I'm like, he should be playing there, and he's not. So the cellist finally called him out on it, and she was like, do you even know what you're doing? And he literally, I'm surprised he said this, but apparently he said no.
Hey, he's honest.
So, this is why it was frustrating, because he got his name put into the program, even though he missed 5 shows. He missed 5 shows out of the 16.
We missed shows.
He missed the one Saturday because he had other arrangements, and this weekend he missed Friday and Saturday because he was sick.
But it was the double.
Yeah.
Well, at least it didn't sound bad.
You must be feeling on cloud 9, huh?
I don't honestly, I don't know why he wasn't just kind of fired at that point. Like, I guess the conductor was just too nice, but like, I don't know. I would have let him go. He didn't know how to read music. Like, it's not helping.
So
Yeah.
he was basically like, oh, he was okay if he was just playing music, but he can't read music, so he didn't help out much, did he?
So his understanding of how he did it was, he would improvise a lot of the stuff, which I thought was crazy because you really can't just do that. That's like not okay.
Not okay at all, man. Well,
Like, no matter how nervous you must have been during any moment, surely you were thinking, well, it could be worse. I could be the guitarist.
It wasn't even so much that. It was just more of like, please don't play something wrong.
Please don't embarrass all of us. Please.
Yeah, pretty much.
you know, I never considered. I think this is just all interesting to me because, you know, I'm not a very big musical guy either. But I've never considered the music side of the musicals, or just like stage plays in general. You know,
There's a lot
like
of
I always think about the actors as like, oh, you know,
yeah. There's a lot. It's a lot of just following and making sure that we're as comfortable as we can be for the actors and the singers.
like, you know, you often hear the opposite, as in like you instead of the guitarist being like, I don't know what I'm doing, you have the actor that doesn't know what he's doing.
So actually, you bring that up. going a little bit ahead, I wanted to talk about one of the specifics of the cast. So obviously, the cast comprised of Gomez, who's the father of the Addams, Morticia, the mother of the Addams, Wednesday, the daughter, Pugsley, the son, Uncle Fester, which is the brother to go. What are you doing?
It's the snapping for the.
Oh.
It's not me, by the way. That was all Kevin.
I can't snap. I tried. Sorry.
There's Grandma Addams, Lurch, and then the other family. The premise of the play was Wednesday falls in love with another guy from another family, and the two families have to meet. One family is the proverbial normal family, and the other family obviously being the Addams, being strange and weird people.
Wasn't this in the movie? I don't remember the movie too well, but I remember the movie's pretty entertaining.
So, but I wanted to talk about Gomez because, number one, he was the one that actually I thought made the show as good as it was, with Fester being a close second. The story behind Gomez, though, is one of the... It's a really saddening story, but at the same time, you can't help but feel really proud about the guy from what he did. So the actors and singers, they had been rehearsing a lot longer than we got a chance to rehearse. They had been almost probably putting about a month into it. The actor that originally played Gomez, from my understanding, he got 3 weeks in, and then he got diagnosed with something that was...
Terminal?
He said he went to church, and he was in the middle of the service, and... he blacked out for a second, and when he came to, he was completely unaware of anything that was going on, including understanding what his name is or anything like that. I don't think it was an Alzheimer's kind of thing. It was something different, because his mind would come fully back to, and he would be okay. But he came to the production, and he said to them honestly, he's like, I can't be the main lead to the musical if this is going to be a thing that happened. Because he got diagnosed from his doctor saying that this is not going to be the last time. So they had to call in another person to learn the whole part in a week. Which is a lot harder than anything I could do, because you have to learn lines by memory and learn songs by memory. And we do not have to do that.
You got the music in front of you.
Yeah.
Imagine a play where he's got the the script on him.
So the fact that he was able to, number one, do that, and then number two, rock it, because he was hysterical and he was funny. He had jokes to really spice up that musical. Was astonishing. So
was it improv? Is what you're saying?
There's room for improv and stuff. A lot of the times, what happens is eventually an actor is gonna forget their lines, or they're just gonna kind of blank out for a second. It's just gonna happen, no matter how hard you try. So in order to kind of supplement when that kind of happens, alternate actors will improvise on the spot to kind of get it's kind of like giving them a hint to this is where we're at, so they can continue on. Which really helps everybody out, because number one, they're not just staring there until something happens, and number two, it makes the play. In my personal opinion, when that happens, I think it's comedic humor, because whoever improvises on the spot there usually does a pretty good job of making something kind of funny happen and playing it out to where they can really get fixed up and everything. So,
was he smoking a cigar? Oh, sorry. Chris had a question, and I just asked a question.
But I was gonna ask how much that screws with the music, because you were talking about trying to keep it with the actors and stuff.
So when there's a couple times when what happens is we do what's called a vamping, where there's a section of the music that literally just repeats itself and repeats itself over.
I see.
There's sometimes you can kind of just restart. You'll go to the end of a measure in the music, and then you'll just say, go back to 24 or something like that. And we can all kind of just understand that, and then kind of start it so it feels like nothing really happened. And if you play your cards well enough, you can make the audience think that was supposed to happen. And
right, yeah.
They'll be none the wiser. So we were pretty good at making sure that kind of stuff happened. There was a lot of fun just happening in with the the cast and whatnot anyway. So I would say that almost all shows, everybody kind of walked out happy and enjoyed it. There was a lot of laughing I heard, so usually when I hear lots of laughing, that's always good. The last show we did today, actually, I gotta say that was probably the best audience we had. They were cracking up like crazy over the whole thing. Like it was a good day.
That's like streaming. A receptive audience is always a
Yeah,
great thing.
it
Lulz in the
really
chat,
is.
please.
Can I get an Omega lol in the chat, please? We don't have that emote on here, do we?
Nope.
But yeah, does he have to smoke a cigar on there, or is it just he has it in his mouth?
So
and it's not lit?
it's funny because he never actually smoked at all during the
I would
musical.
hope not.
But there is a scene where Pugsley smokes.
No. That's kind of funny, just because.
Yeah,
Gomez is always seen with his cigar.
If you want to get a full experience of the play, I'll go ahead and post it in the Discord. It's not us obviously doing it; it's another group that does it, but they do a pretty good job of it too. And it's basically like 99% exactly the same of what we did.
Did you watch that to get an idea on how?
Yeah. So when I was when I was working on my music, I was so glad I found it because when I have the music kind of to play along with, it makes the experience of learning the music a lot faster than just having to coldly learn it and slowly learn it.
So wait, did they not recommend you do that? Did you just do that on your own?
No, they didn't recommend anything. They
just give him 100 pages and say show up.
Yeah, that's about it. Here's 100 pages, learn the music, and you're good to go. But that's pretty much it. And then rehearsal. One of my teachers always used to say, rehearsal is a time to learn everybody else's part, and should not be a time to waste to learning your own part. It's a double-edged sword, I think, when saying that, because sometimes you just don't know how to play your part, and there's not really a good enough explanation on how to do that. But it
helps you with the cues.
Yeah, it helps with cues, and it helps with being able to listen to what I'm listening for, how to properly play stuff that I already know better to be engaged with everybody else that's playing. So that's kind of the mentality I really went towards with that. Basically what happened was that on that Sunday that I got that, we streamed for a very short time of Roller Coaster Tycoon, because if I remember correctly, we streamed for about 2 hours at the max, and then I said I had to call it quits because I had to sit down and learn it. As soon as I got off that stream, I went to work. I put in the methodology of this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to slowly just go through each page. I'm going to have the first act done by that night, which I did.
You're telling me your homework, yeah.
Yeah, it was basically my homework. I went through each piece one at a time, and I made sure I got it to probably about 90%. Being able to play it, if not more. And then I would go to the next one, and I'd go to the next one. So that was about 55 pages for the first act, because the first act was a little bit longer than the second one.
You're real nervous too. I don't know. If you
I was
mentioned that.
I was very unsure of how well this was gonna go. My intention was not to be fired, and my intention was to be great. So I would say I probably rocked both of those goals in a sense. But yeah, it got crazier because I went through each piece of that first act, and then I ran the whole first act again. Just went all the way back to the beginning, ran it all again, and then I did it again, and that was the night. So I woke up then the next morning. I ate breakfast, walked the dog, and then I ran the whole first act again, just to make sure I was all prepared. And then I went to town doing the same exact thing with the second act. I didn't have much time to learn the second act as much as I wanted to, but I got through it as best as I could. So it just came down to, learning as much else as I could on the go too, which was frustrating because we started working on the second act when I got there. So it was like, oh great, joy. But I made it happen. I'm surprised I made it happen, but I don't want that much stress. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. It was just a little too much stress.
Yeah, if it was something that you were earlier, oh yeah, you have 2 months. It was like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. So, but that's most of. So the other things I wanted to talk about were just some of the goofy things. Those guys like to drink a lot.
Uh-oh.
Most
Zomas in
Fridays,
particular?
3 out of 4 Fridays, there was the ceremonial shot before the start of each show, which I thought was crazy. I don't know why you would
And then you gotta drive on the potholes and
Yeah. I don't know.
That's why there's so much construction.
What's up, Mr. Porky Gaming? How are you doing today? It's just not something I would. I didn't partake, obviously,
right.
but like just watching them do that, it was like, no, it's not a good idea. It calms the nerves, but like, there's a lot of there's a lot of people that can't play can't play under the
Drunk.
influence. Yeah.
You're about to say you can't play sober. It's like, wow.
No, well,
What is it, Jackie Chan, the drunken fist?
I guess in a sense, there's a lot of people that really can't play sober either. So, you know.
Oh, like the guitarist.
So that was some stuff. There was so much snacks that were just bought too. Thanks for the follow, Mr. Porky Gaming, if I can remember.
Why you gotta say it like that?
You got it right the first time.
I know I
Yeah.
did. I don't know why I couldn't say it right the second time.
But yeah.
But yeah, that is most of the stuff I'd have to say about the play. I'd recommend you go watch the play though, just to get an understanding of what I really did.
So also to keep in mind, right? The video you would link, they switched the bass, right?
What do you mean? No,
you said
you know what is funny you bring that up. So I got a chance. Obviously, the reason I was late tonight was that I went out to go hang out with
them.
They went and drank. I didn't, but they went out for dinner, and I decided to join them just because, like, I didn't really do that throughout most of the time, and it's kind of I guess it'd be a rude thing if I didn't go out and just meet up with them and talk with them. I'm not really much of a person that just likes to go and hang out and shoot the breeze a lot of the time. I usually like to just do stuff, but I went out and hung out with them, and I wanted to exchange phone numbers and everything for future gigs and stuff like that. That being said, they were talking about with a lot of the plays and musicals that they do. A lot of the times they don't even use upright bass because it's just too much of a hassle to bring around everywhere, and they just use electric bass. So the musical that the group that I watched for the whole play, they also I don't think had an upright. I think everything was done with an electric bass.
Electric?
Yeah, I did go out of the town. Actually, I have I could load up a picture here. I'll do it maybe in a little bit of what.
I'll just ask while you're doing that though. So like, do you think that you would want to have a different instrument if you were called to a gig again like this?
If you would have asked,
or would you rather want to have an instrument that you don't really know like you did this time?
No, I'm pretty finite on wanting myself to be basically a low brass player, a bass guitarist, and that's about it.
Right.
Though I can play drums and trumpet pretty well, and I can kind of work my way through a piano in a sense. They're not something I want to truly focus too much time on.
I see.
So, but yeah, I definitely probably like to do more tuba than I would bass guitar, but after this experience, I feel a lot more confident, and it's definitely something that I want to pursue a little bit more now. So yeah, that's something actually to talk about.
Good end.
Since they now have my number, they might need me for your future shows. That being said, I'm sorry guys, I'm gonna have to stop streaming. I've already gotten calls for a whole bunch of different shows, and I just can't fit this in anymore. I'm sorry guys. Goodbye.
Good. Now I can start my.
No.
I thought you left the call.
Yeah.
That's too much effort for him. Just
no, I probably will get a lot more gigs in the future. Just be prepared for like random streams not taking place just because of that. I'll try as hard as I can to give you guys a heads up on when that will be. But you never know. It's
You
not
pick it up, Chris.
it's not uncommon to be like, "Can you come play this tonight? I have an emergency," and it's like, okay. So just be prepared for that. But I will try my best to still stream on a normal basis as much as I can. Also, that being as well said, I will probably be starting doing private lesson teaching sometime soon here.
Woo!
With me?
I don't know when that will be. I don't know what day specifically that's going to be. I know that's coming though. I'd like to schedule it so I don't have to take another day off for streaming. Not 100% sure yet. Still waiting on that.
I mean, I'm sure everyone is like, yeah, do it. You know,
Hmm.
don't worry about us. We're fine.
See, I don't like
keep
that.
pursuing this.
I still want to pursue this though. We've built up such a good thing over the year. This year's in particular has been really good. I like to keep it that way. And I'd like the internet to stop, garbaging out every 5 seconds. That'd be appreciative. So, just wanted to give that a heads up. But yeah, that's.
I'm trying to think. Oh, dude, you totally remember.
Dude,
I've been going home each weekend, right? And this one weekend, my friend Jake was like, "Hey, one of our friends is having like a Grease sing along," and mind you, I've actually never watched the Grease. I know the songs, I've heard some of them, but it's like, what, you know? And then it was like, oh, the person who organized it, she hasn't watched the movie either. I was like, okay.
I've never seen Grease
And-
myself.
All my everyone, a lot of our friends could make it except Johnny, and it was a shame because I talked to him later, and he was like, Kevin, I've watched Grease 72 times. I've counted because it was the only thing on, and he said it was like, oh yeah, every time I watch it, I learn something new. It's one of my favorite movies, and I was like, bruh, you missed out. We lampooned the movie. I told my dad that we watched it, and he was like, oh, that was a good movie. I was like, I don't know, Dad. Kind of aged a little weird. I think the scene's good. The choreography's pretty cool. There's a lot of like hidden things with the story. Like, no one has a character arc. Can I briefly spoil something?
For the
Oh.
movie Grease.
Yeah.
you should have.
Is the time frame good? Is the time frame good?
It might be too
Okay.
soon, man.
Cover.
know.
Cover your ears.
Watched it in 8th grade.
There's a character. I forgot her name. But her whole arc is one of the greasers, one of the T-Bird boys, gets her pregnant apparently, right? And like they don't hit off well, and then she has like this very dramatic song in front of like the high school, going like, I won't let people look down on me. I won't let people pity me. I am who I am. And then at the end of the movie, she's like, just kidding. Just kidding.
What do you mean?
Just kidding. I'm not pregnant. And I'm like,
Oh.
what do you mean?
Oh,
We had a whole song about you, and you weren't even. I hate it. I like the movie though. It was pretty silly. It's good to watch with friends. There is Grease 2. Johnny hates it, so I would not watch it.
It's
how
John-
about it's like the Blues Brothers too?
Oh no, please, no, please. I'll leave. You guys can have the hour to yourself. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I ate a lot of pizza too, and that food thing. It's like, yeah, I'm here. There's food. It's the same place that I'll be vague because Carl knows about it. It's where Johnny had the event
Oh yeah,
on my car.
I do know what he's talking about.
Splashing
Right.
P.
No, he drank. Okay, and that's all you need.
And I'm assuming he wasn't only buzzed.
Oh no, we lost count of what he was drinking, so it was a little bit. It was our fault. I said I was gonna be vague, and then I just. He's cool with it though.
It's not that big of a deal.
I know. It was my first time having that to like really be the designated driver, and Because like at the end, all of us kind of went home in silence.
Oh, boo-hoo, you get to be the designated. I was the designated driver throughout all of Sims Speed.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Why is it my
For
fault?
You died at the end. You weren't interesting enough.
Yeah, apparently.
Dude, I'll lift the veil here. Brian's not here, so what's he gonna do? Punch me?
Well, apparently,
Kill me?
Brian doesn't
Stab
want to
me?
come to my stream anymore because he's in timeout and he's being a
Well,
bad-
anyway, Sims is going in a direction. I don't know when we'll do it, when we'll get to do it, but the whole idea is that it's season 0, so it's even before, it's when Carl and Troy.
Do you
are
even
VG
have-
Jones.
Any of the Sims saved?
Me? No.
Does Brian?
I don't know. No. Well, he's shown me some of his work.
No, I'm talking
I'm
about
not gonna-
like the VODs.
Oh yeah, he saved some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some.
They're highlighted. I don't know if he did all of them because I feel like he kind of lost the rhythm of it. But the interesting thing though is still there's still a lot of things that I think he's working on. I don't know when we'll have the time, but I'm pretty interested in seeing how this season 0 works. I don't know who else he's adding in though, considering it's like a backstory thing. He did it because Carl, you're like, it's not focused around me. Now it's just really about you and Troy, I think. So we're gonna see how that goes.
It's focused on me and Troy.
Yeah, I just said
God.
it's your backstory.
I don't know about that.
You work at a certain location in your past life.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be like the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Yeah.
Brought through your whole life.
it's gonna be killer. Well, anyway, Chris, you have anything else? Because we still actually have like 2 hours, like 30 minutes left on this. I thought we'd
To
take
the
longer.
The top of the hour.
To the top of the hour. Let's boot up Mario Maker again.
See, I was wondering this for like the hour. Is the
Right.
Addams Family the one with the hand in it?
Yes, that's a thing.
Yes,
Was the hand in the play?
Yes.
it was played by
An
Frankie
actual
Muniz.
disembodied hand.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, in a sense, it was more of like a guy who was hiding under a covered table, and then he would just stick his hand out. That was the thing.
Okay. I figured it would have been a
It wa-
prop or something.
Did anyone play the tree?
The tree?
Yeah, the classic role in every play.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
in every play.
there was trees and stuff. I mean, well, okay, so like, well, I don't know if I want to spoil it.
I don't
mean,
know. I don't know if
I
Carl's
the
getting
whole
what we're saying.
the whole play is like in the Discord now.
Their manner, right? Oh.
So
Carl, what we're saying is someone wearing a tree outfit and
well,
just
that's
standing there.
that's the thing. Like I could
Okay.
yes,
I see.
I will say
Okay,
yes, but not probably as you may expect it. So
It's just that your
Oh.
answer made it seem like
they
you thought
they made
that,
it
oh, yeah,
more
there's
unique.
trees.
They
It's
made
like,
it more
cool.
unique.
Is there like an ent?
And
Like a sentient tree with limbs and stuff?
no, watch
I
the play
figured,
and
you
you'll
know,
understand.
That would be in a monster mash kind of thing.
No, it's not
It
the
was
white tree.
It's the Deku tree.
Wake
Okay.
up dying. Oh, spoilers.
Like I'm dying.
So many spoilers in this podcast.
I think it's. I feel like it's because it's later, but that's too funny to me.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
this is a little bit of a later
You gotta
podcast
pee
for
on
sure.
me to save me.
Did you take a shot or something?
You gotta pee on me to save me, Link.
God, speed's
You
loopy now.
I'm not gonna.
I'm not gonna pee on
do
him
that.
and let him die.
And let him die.
Well, does anybody have any more questions before we wrap
Oh,
up?
Zorks
the
sent
musical.
me a really long time ago. Well, wait, what are you talking about? The musical?
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other questions that they're pressing on
actually-
their mind?
I actually do, teacher. I'm raising my hand.
I can't
So
see
you
your
said
hand.
that the music has to like follow the actors.
Yes.
Is there ever like a time where the actors have to try to, mess up their own thing to follow the music? Or is
Like-
that all on you?
So they sing a song. Obviously, with the music playing, they have a pretty good idea where the lines and stuff kind of line up and everything. Based on how much they practice, of course. You know, if they don't practice, then it's kind of a hopeless endeavor as it is. But obviously they did. They just kind of adjust on the go. Most of the biggest issue is just the timing of it. Sometimes they might be a little bit ahead or behind. There's kind of this decision on if they're not fixing on their own, then we as the orchestra will readjust to them. So we'll probably slow ourselves down in order to kind of level out the speed so that we're back into place of where they are at. If not, they may just like stutter. Like if you've heard me sing, there's a lot of times when I just mess up lyrics and I kind of just go. And it's just the singer's stutter, I guess. You know, sometimes that's all you can do, and sometimes it's just what happens, I guess.
Quickly to the Major General song again.
If it becomes really if it becomes really bad, sometimes what they'll do is they'll just have to stop and then just kind of pick up at a new spot. And the conductor has everything that's going on in front of them. They have like a big mega score that shows like this is where the lines are supposed to be, this is what happens at this point in the music, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's their job to, if something like that happens, to kind of just yell out to us, you know, okay, now we're going on to 28. If that kind of makes sense.
You know, it's funnier than 28. I don't know.
So
I'm trying to think of anything else. I guess, did the commute get better over time or not really? It just kind of stayed.
The commute
poor.
to the place?
Yeah.
So there's a parking lot right behind the building that made going to and from super easy. If I wasn't able to get a parking spot there, I had to go park in the dreaded parking garage, which is a 4-story monstrosity. There were sometimes I would have to park in the parking garage and I'd get a spot right up at the first floor and it'd be easy. And then there were some spots that like they were on the last floor because it's just a busy night.
Right. You know, commuting's been a little weird for me because I actually didn't really take the freeway before, but now I have to do it like almost every day. And it's unique because I'm just so used to taking side streets, but it's just flat out more efficient to take the freeway. So, you know, I get to experience what I get to see my dad had to back in the day. You know, when we go on family trips, and people will be like, you know.
Imagine having a dog walker job and talk to me about driving.
Well, you got a front on me. I'm just saying I've never experienced it.
Because
it sounds like you're flexing on me.
I have to be more miserable than when it comes to driving.
Okay.
So I have a question.
What if I get amputated and I get a cool bionic arm?
You get the Phantom Pain.
Oh wait, no, actually, never mind. I saw this cool video of a guy with like hooks for hands, and he was able to drive fine.
That's you.
I wish it was. Well, no, never mind. I need my hands to draw. Maybe get with the Metal Gear one, with the rocket punch.
Rocket punch.
Snake kick.
Anyway, Carl, I know you said that you do aspire for again, but do you think it'll be as stressful, or do you think you picked up some things you were like, oh yeah, I can do that more efficiently next time, or things like that?
Yeah, I definitely picked up a lot of that kind of stuff. This was a big learning experience just from learning how to read music in a sense for myself. Now that I've done this, I have a lot more confidence in my ability to play the bass guitar. If this was on tuba, I would have easily been able to do it a lot better. With tuba, I can sight read a lot more stuff since I've been playing it longer and I studied it more and I practiced it more. Bass guitar,
major.
Yeah, bass guitar is more of just kind of like a hobby on the side, if we're honest. So now it's kind of just evolved from this hobby to let's take this further. What else can I do with it now? So, yes, next time I could probably do this a lot better and feel a lot more confident.
Do you think you'll play the bass on a stream? Because I know you did it once recently. That was when I think James joined in or something.
Yeah, so that's the problem with that, is that I don't really.
It's not a lot of songs you could do.
Yeah, it's not. Nobody goes and just I guess sees just a bass player play, I guess. And it's,
I saw one of my favorite like street musicians is like Rikuo, and I forget the full name, but it's just a drummer and a bassist, and it's like pretty high intensity. I really like it. Maybe I'll link it in the Discord too if I find it.
yeah,
They're pretty darn good.
I know there's people like Davey504 out there, and plenty of people that do make a career out of playing solo bass, but you know.
I mean, let's consider it like this: like you had a hard time finding a good backing track to even play bass with.
Yeah, it's just the biggest thing too with a lot of the music streams is just I don't know what you guys want, and I don't think I still do know what you guys want, and I don't know what I want out of it myself. I don't know what's appealing.
Megalovania.
Dun, 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 dun. I feel like that's just you with everything, though, Carl. Not to be mean, but I mean,
That's
you
no,
don't know it?
it's super true. You're not wrong. It's just with that, I feel like it's. I don't know what I want, I guess, myself. I think that's the question I'm dancing around. That I do not know what I want out of that myself. I do not know what I want to do to provide joy, I guess, for you guys. I asked the question, and you guys fully responded perfectly fine. I just didn't like the responses. which don't get offended. Like I gotta
every time.
I know I have to make it clear though. It's just the way I am. I've always been like that. I do not know how to fix that. I don't know if I should even fix that. It's just how I am. I am very big on rejection, I guess.
Carl's like a stereotypical composer, like, you know, big bow tie, big dramatic arm motions, and if it's not going to the plan, then it's the guitarist can stay.
I think I guess what I kind of look for if I really wanted to do more serious streaming with music, what I'd like to do it with a band. If I'm honest, like either like a 4 or 6 or kind of like a small, not like a giant, you know, orchestra or anything like that, but just kind of like basically what Super Soul Bros do.
Right.
I'd love to do something like that. I'd have a blast doing that. It would
I
be
told Carl, I went to the mall recently, and there's like a Salmon Ash in it.
Salmon
Their music. Sorry, Sam Ash music.
Yeah,
is that
that's
it? Sorry, I thought they were two different people. Anyway, I went there twice actually, and both times they have like this electron. What do you call it, Carl? It's like a drum.
The electronic drum kit.
Yeah. So no one else can hear it, but I have headphones on, and I thought I had the good mentality on how to drum. And it's not. It doesn't work. I think my feet thought differently than my arms, and I guess I have to just practice and I do. Because drumming seems fun to me. Like Chris, do you do any instruments?
To say I never touched an instrument in my life is not true. I went to 2 piano classes in college and then stopped going, and I faced no repercussions for just not showing up. It was hard, man. I'm stupid. I can't read the music.
I can't read music either.
You know, like my
Carl
fingers.
tells me I should learn, but it's like I don't know.
It's a rite of passage to really learn music, and it's a difficult thing. Like I will not deny the fact that it's hard to read music. It's something that you got to put the practice in. You got to put the time in to do it. And
Guitar guy didn't.
It's a new thing.
Well,
Just
and you see how far it
lampooning
got
this
him.
dude.
So,
But yeah, he got his name on the thing, and you didn't get your name on the thing.
But-
You got pretty darn far.
but
We should be more like the guitar guy.
yeah, really. The thing is that if you want to learn how to read sheet music as well as be proficient on an instrument, it is the same amount of time as is confidently learning another language, and more to the point, fluently learning another language. Like
I'll have to explain it.
Like
There-
Tagalog.
there's one thing to taking, Spanish 4 in high school and being pretty proficient at it. There's another thing when you've lived in Mexico for 10 years or Spain or any of those Spanish-speaking countries and you are fully fluent in it. It's that kind of thing where, you can learn music, you can learn basic music in probably a week if you put the time in, but to really fully learn it. It's gonna take some time.
So I'll join your band.
No,
How many
Carl-
songs have recorded?
Not too many.
Well, you better make room for it.
Okay.
Carl's already in a band.
Yeah,
he's in
of
his band
himself.
with himself because no one wants to join his band.
I really like
Exclamation point.
I really like doing those. It's just so much work now. Like from when I started it back then, it was always just kind of this race to get to the end, and as I progress more and more, it becomes less of that and more of just how much more I can perfect everything. Like I'll get to the end of recording and then I'll listen to it and I'll be like, I gotta go back and fix that. Or I gotta go back and fix that. I gotta go back and fix that. I gotta go back. It's just this constant, like, the list grows bigger with every single song I do these days.
Like
'cause
the
I-
underwater theme.
Yeah. Like the underwater thing, which should just be destroyed and redone.
Oh, it's my favorite.
You talking about the Tropical Freeze one, Carl?
No, the Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was like, dude, I thought you really liked the. You said that you broke new ground with the DKC one. I was like, what? What are you
It's
talking
weird
about now?
because it's underwater.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no,
I guess
that,
that's like.
that one was the aquatic ambience was a fluke, if anything. Like that wasn't even attempted to be a full song like that. That was just to be a Gamathon transition. And then when I recorded, literally recorded 8 measures of that. It was like 10 seconds long.
It was so funny because everyone was like, "Okay, Carl, this song's too good. I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah.
Why'd you put it here?"
So, like, I recorded those 10 measures, and I said to myself, this is way too good to just not turn into a song. I have to go and fully record something now. So, like, that's the most frustrating is when things come from a mistake. Which, funny enough, speaking of books, because we were talking about Curious George like an hour ago,
2 hours ago.
there's a book called Stuff That Came From Mistakes. It's literally a
Me-
book about mistakes that were
That's bad, man.
created into great things. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh man.
Carl, I have a
I felt
question.
go ahead.
Teacher, I'm raising my hand. Teacher,
You gotta use the bathroom.
did any of your family attend the play?
Yes.
Oh, that's a
yes,
good
they
one.
did. They came not this last Friday, this weekend, but
You
the
hear
Friday.
that bass?
before.
That's my son.
Well, it was funny because I so specifically right before the musical started, there was always this, please silence your cell phones and make sure none of this happens. Here's where the emergency exits are, and all that kind of stuff that happens through most of that stuff. I texted through the whole show. And I've been texting
Well-
through a lot of the times, like when you guys are talking, like on the weekends, and I'm responding back. I'm literally like in the middle of the play, just waiting for time to like actually play. Like I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you have to consider this though. I saw it too. It's just like it's hard to fit in a question when it's just an ongoing conversation, especially when it's a little more one-sided, where Carl's giving us his information. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was holding on to that one.
I'm trying to get to your questions, Chad. I have read them, and I'm just trying to find the right place to put them in. So, but yes, my family did come, and going back to that, I asked my brother specifically. I'm like, "Do you hear bass?" And number 2, does the bass sound good? And he was like, "Yes, I do hear bass."
He didn't answer the other one.
There was a here's the thing though, because he asked me, he's like, "Was that music pre-recorded a lot of the times?" I'm like, "No, we played the whole thing live. Nothing was pre-recorded." He's like, "Oh, okay." And to a musician, that's I think most musicians will take that. I take that positively because that just says that, dang, I'm good enough to be recorded. So
Now that I think about it, why don't they just go the pre-recorded route?
it's harder to line it up when mistakes happen
Yeah.
with singers.
And then you also have the what do you call it? Like you said, you have the little repeat measure thing.
Yeah, there's that too.
That's
like-
hard to just do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
it's a frustrating process for that, and it's so much easier to have people to tell, please fix this.
Just have pre-recorded music that's acting on hard mode.
Yeah, okay.
It's a gamer reference.
all right, gamer, you got a commercial for us?
Oh, that's right. He's well, it's kind of too late now, isn't it?
No, we got another hour.
Yeah, till the top of the next hour.
I was gonna
well-
I was gonna finish off answering questions that I missed.
Right, go ahead.
So
Hit it.
I think I did answer the question of would I do a show again, and the answer is yes. It's not even so much of a would, it's a when will I do another show again. At this point it's that inevitable.
Yeah, I feel like you answered that already, though. You know, that's why I
We
didn't.
talked about it.
Yeah, we did talk about it, but I don't know if it was fully just talked about. But I definitely will do another show at some point in the future.
Like, are you looking out for are you like actively seeking shows? Or...
Yeah, I'd like to get paid. Obviously, I don't want to really do free stuff. But sometimes you just gotta do a free show.
Did you have to mix this in with your group gigs too? Because you said you meet up each week.
I'm sorry. Define the question a little bit more. I don't think I understood it.
So you got picked up because you were hanging out with your group, right? Like a music
Yeah.
group.
So on a weekly basis, I do go play at a community band on Wednesdays, and that's where One Off Wednesday became a thing because I still wanted to stream late at night, but I didn't want to do something that would.
So that's what you were doing still, though. is what
Yeah,
it was.
and that's how I got informed of the gig, because it
Oh no, I meant
group-
like during the gig, like you still had the free time to meet up with the.
Yeah,
group.
so there's we have there obviously during the intermissions we can talk. We meet up. We showed up an hour before each show, to warm up and kind of get ready because doors open a half hour before, which I thought was insanely early, but it's whatever, I guess.
And I guess were any of them? No one else was involved in your little community meetup group thing, right?
One of the other so the guy that invited me out to play with this was actually a substitute for it.
Right.
So he only actually showed up for half of the shows. He was actually a trombone player, and he was probably the best out of the three of them that were there. There was the primary trombonist, then there was him, and then there was one more guy. The girl was all right. She played her part well, and that's all that really mattered at that point. But I felt there could have been a little bit more. She was kind of on the weaker side. Like, all the notes were right, but they were scared and unsure. The last guy, however, missed a lot of cues, and there was a lot of random trombone that made no sense. And
So you hear sirens, by the way.
yeah, it was like, what the heck are you? There's a scene in the movie Whiplash where it's the very just spoilers, really. It's the very end of the movie.
Okay, that's
Yeah, it's definitely spoilers.
Unbelievable.
He he is out. He had been invited to come play with the last band of the movie, which was this like top group, I guess. In a sense.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. The thing though was that the conductor had a grudge with him, and he gave him all the wrong. The main character was the drummer, by the way.
yeah.
He gave him all the wrong music, and they started up a new song. And there was just a moment where the bassist looks over to him, and he just looks over. And he's just like, "What the are you doing?" Because that's just how it is. And sometimes, like, that's kind of how I wanted to go about things too. Because especially that guitar player, because there's like times when I'm like, "What are you doing? Stop it!" I don't like being toxic in.
Because it should be a
musical
community
settings.
thing anyway.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, I don't think there's ever really a good time to be toxic. It's almost the same kind of level as like Major
CS:GO.
Major League Gaming and stuff.
What do you mean? CS:GO
Is
Yeah.
toxic.
Yeah, every time is toxic time.
Yeah, I don't think every time you guys play online. Oh man, hold on. This reminds me. So Nova's streaming in my Discord, right? And we got a glimpse of the best thing ever. It was at the end and they were losing.
Oh
Fighting.
yeah, I saw the clip.
Was there a clip? Did you get a clip of that?
Was
I
it
don't remember.
the clip where he was all by himself and he got to kill
No.
everybody? Oh no.
No, this is better. So his team was fighting each other, as in, like, arguing, And then this guy was like, "Oh, you keep telling me to do this and do that. Wow, wow, wow. Why don't you do something better? You." And then expletive and whatever. And he leaves. And then no, and I think it was evening too. We were like, "Okay, what did that guy play?" And knowing Overwatch, I think both of you can answer a little.
There's so many DPS units though.
Who is the one that everyone jokes about?
I don't know enough about Overwatch.
Who's the sword?
Wait. Oh yeah,
Genji. It's Genji, dude. Of
course.
The funniest thing is Nova's like he didn't do a darn thing. He didn't do a darn thing. It's always the DPS that complains the most in those, and it was great, dude. It was fantastic. It was textbook, like you probably had this happen to you, Carl. During CS:GO, he's like, "Oh, you guys,
Oh yeah,
guys
easily.
but
Well,
to have the wow,
I think,
that was
yeah,
so funny.
the funniest thing is one of the most horrible things we do sometimes is especially when it's a 4-stack, when me, Brian, Robin, Evie are all on this team, and then we have a 5th rando, and if that rando is a baby like 95% of the match, we will all unanimously agree the last round that we're confidently going to play, we will vote kick him.
I thought it was gonna be so much worse. Like
I thought
run
you were
around
team
him,
killing.
harassing him.
No,
yeah.
because we still want to win, but we don't want him to win. See, that's
I see.
the
Oh,
I get
so
it.
you're having him play the whole game, and then you're just kicking him
Yeah,
so he wastes
yeah,
his
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Ooh.
That's good. Like normally I'd be like, oh, that's a little mean. But it's like,
Yeah.
of course they're being mean, so win-win.
yeah. And
Except for
with
that guy.
competitive Counter Strike, there's things that are designed to prevent you from just quitting midway through a competitive match. Obviously, you get competitive bans from time to time. So like you start off with like a 30-minute cooldown, and then the more you do it, the progressively longer it gets, and like the maximum is a week. I'm sorry.
Right.
So you can't play competitive for a whole entire week just because you were too much of a baby to be with or be nice to your teammates.
I feel like I would like a cooldown on comp anyway, just because it's like if I play too much, I get spicy.
But I mean, it's like going back to toxic behaviors really just aren't. I saw quite a few moments of toxicity throughout the orchestra, and like I try my best if I can help it to make sure like to try and diffuse if I can. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you just gotta let the fight happen. That's just how it is. But like,
Yeah, conflict management is definitely important when it comes to group work. I don't think I'm good at it either.
I don't want to say there was necessarily snobbery, but like I guess yes, there was snobbery. Like, listening to that trombone player, I don't like going out of my way just to say I'm better than somebody. But gosh darn it, I was better than him, and he did not know how to play his trombone very well.
Well, the trombone is your child. It's your main.
He was trombone.
My tuba is my main.
He's right, actually.
What's your sub weapon?
Yeah, the trombone is the sub.
Yeah, it's probably the trombone.
And then what's your grenade set as? The
French
triangle.
horn.
French horn. I like it.
Wait, we can make a game out of this. I'll write this down.
I think a music themed anything is great.
Everyone loves it,
Yeah.
Music Park
Everyone,
in Mario
Music Park, I
Kart.
was gonna say,
Big
yeah.
Band. Everyone loves Big Band.
Big band, yeah.
It's Carl's main. He hasn't even touched the game probably.
He hasn't even played Skullgirls, and it's like, yeah, I'm a big band man. He probably is because he also he's like a big guy,
I don't think I own Skullgirls.
You have to. It's been on sale for like $1 every week.
I own Skulls of the Shogun.
That's a good game. I probably got that for you, right?
I don't know. It says you've played it though. It says you're the only one in my friend group that's played it.
Big feels bad, man.
I have Sniper Elite. I have Sonic and All Stars Racing Transform collection that I've never played with anybody.
Still a good game.
Yeah, I heard
It's
it's
okay.
fun.
Like
Like-
Team Sonic Racing.
Like, I haven't given any of them a shot. I feel like I should give them the time. It's not like I don't look down. It's not like I look down on them. It's just I haven't touched it. It's one of those games. You know? Thanks for coming to Speed's podcast at the end there. No one wants to converse with me.
Carl already put up the outro.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other
let's wrap it up
questions.
here.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap it up, it's time to a word from our.
So
our
now you're
sponsor.
going for it. You said not to do it.
Yeah, I genuinely thought I was off the hook for that
No,
one.
no, no.
You can't
no,
you
no.
can't bait me like that.
Yeah, I can. It's my stream. You can't even argue that.
That's why I don't want to go to Carl's house. It's like you can't do that. It's my house.
My
you know?
house, my game,
My
my
rules.
console.
I get to pick the movie for tonight. For
Okay,
tonight's
okay,
sleepover.
all right, Chris, are you ready?
No.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Are you tired of a tiny, minuscule, hot, sweaty room
Can we go
for
this way?
you
Oh.
and your boys to play your instruments in during a play? Well, fear not, my friends, because Carl 1001 has the solution for you. I
Does he
didn't
pick
come
it
up
from
with
there?
what?
Does Carl pick up from there? Because he has the solution apparently.
No, he's not. He made.
I'm just
he made-
here.
I don't have a name for it, but rooms that are 1,001 square yards big. You want an orchestra in there? Put it in there. You want 2 orchestras in there? Put them in there. You want 3 orchestras in there? Put them in there. You're not gonna run out of space in these rooms. Everyone's gonna be comfortable. There will be no arguing, and everyone will perform perfectly.
Thank you.
No, hold on. No, there has to be an ending, right?
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Call now, and we'll triple the offer. 3,003 square yards, completely free. Wait,
Wait, hold on.
2,002 yards, completely free, alongside the 1,000. What do you mean this product sounds bad? Did you hear Carl's horror story? How it was so cramped and terrible in there. He probably couldn't even breathe. It's a wonder that
Hold
he
on, you know
and
what's the
his
best part?
musical mate could even perform under those terrible conditions. Like, we should.
That room is basically the black and white part where it's like someone's having like back pain.
No, I'm just looking at it. Like I went into Google measurements. 2,002 yards is 1.13 miles. That is a monstrosity of a room.
No, that's not not just that. That's you can fit 3 orchestras in there. How big
Yeah,
are
really.
they? How big
Air
are the
conditioning,
orchestras?
soundproofing. It has it all. The instruments, already there.
So how does this get delivered, my friend?
UPS.
How much shipping? How much cost shipping? Tell us the price. Come on. Hit us with the low price.
Yeah, that's a good question. Absolutely free.
Whoa.
Wait, we can't do that. I already
It's
said.
not- I love the idea.
Carl, how much did you get paid for this gig?
The
I don't think he wants to
$560.
disclose that.
An undisclosable amount of money is what you will need to pay for this luxury of a room.
Order yours now.
Order it right now, please. We don't have enough space.
We can't fit this in the warehouse. It's a little too big. I don't know. I think it's a good deal. You like you know, free real. Actually, it's undisclosed.
Yeah,
amount
it's
of
not
space.
free. We've already established this. Please pay attention.
Play attention.
That's not what I said. I hope. Did I?
I don't know anymore.
It's 2 in the morning. It's past 2 in the morning.
Yeah, Carl asked me if we can go this late, and I'm like, sure. I have
have to
school
go
at
the
2 p.m.
Top
But
of
it's
the
like I
hour.
was concerned about Chris because he was like, I don't remember Chris's time.
And
The
surprise.
dogs are fine. Don't you worry about those doggos because I'd probably leave at 10:30 anyway. I gotta get my 8 hours, but I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna get it. All right, so let's wrap this baby up. Thanks for coming to the 20th podcast. For those listening to this
Before we
and
wrap
not
up,
watching
what
it,
are you doing this week? Are you guys doing anything this week?
well, yeah. I just want to mention though, when this gets uploaded, it's probably gonna be bulked with the episode 19.
Yeah,
So
probably.
you're gonna see some funny stuff where it's
Wait,
like,
what?
man, we haven't done it in a while, and then the next podcast, man, we haven't done it in a while.
Are you saying you won't upload them separately?
No, I'll
He
upload them
doesn't-
separate.
doesn't-
I've just been really bad at uploading stuff lately since I've been busy.
Yeah, I mean, he still has Kingdom Hearts ready and all that.
Yeah.
And he's been busy.
I
Maybe
gotta-
soon he'll get back into it.
I gotta go through everything and see what I want to do.
So I think both Chris and I had the same answer. We're streaming dependent on when we're available, and what. Well, I think. Well, Chris, you're still just gonna do Monster Hunter, right? You still have to.
Yeah, it's kind of in a weird spot, but what? Not tomorrow, so maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe.
Wait, no,
Monster
definitely
Hunter.
Sunday. Definitely Sunday. You're playing Monster.
Yeah,
Hunter.
we're streaming Monster Hunter on Sunday. Definitely.
Are we having a
So-
podcast again? And then Chris is there again. He's not a special guest then. He's just like a regular at this point.
We'll see what happens by that point. Let's see how caught up I am, because I also got to get ready for Majora's Mask night coming up in.
I
less
feel
than 2
like this.
weeks.
I'm a little worried. I wanna set this out right now, and I want you to just agree or disagree, Carl. Are we facing a Paper Mario Night situation or not quite?
Not quite.
Okay, because at least you don't have to deal with a challenge, but you don't. I still don't know if you're using 3D or not.
Oh, I've come to the conclusion of what I'll be using, and you guys will all find out.
Wait, actually, you told. Never mind. I know what you told me.
You will all find out
Tomorrow.
October 19th.
That's menacing.
So, what horror games are you thinking of doing, or what? Like, what's your week
Majora's
looking like?
Mask.
So, so tomorrow, I will go ahead and do Mario
Luigi's
related.
Mansion would be good.
I don't know if I wanted to do Luigi's Mansion. I'm not
Another
sure
run?
about that.
No?
It's not Mario Monday.
Yeah. Well, Mario's in the game.
Yeah.
That's the
Shit.
definition. If Mario is in the game, that like counts.
Then you should play SSX on tour.
Punch Out.
Punch Out. Yeah, these are all good choices. Actually, no, hold on. He's on Punch Out. Well, he's in the first one. Never mind. I thought you meant the Wii. I guess you would have said Wii.
Yeah, I mean that would be the version of why.
Yeah, that's where Zork's favorite character is in.
But I haven't really thought about Mario Mondays too much. I have like ideas and thoughts. I just don't know what I want to do for those yet.
There's
Tuesday.
also like, sorry, I was gonna just mention there's a lot of spooky themed Mario Party levels too.
Yeah, I had those written down too. I just don't know how I want to organize them yet. Tomorrow will be just like a whatever seems appealing that for tomorrow. Then I will do that.
Yeah.
Mario Maker.
But
Get out.
Content.
Tuesday I will go ahead and start spooky stuff off. I was going to originally play throughout September. I wanted to get Hat in Time done and Owl Boy done, but those are going to be on hold until November, I think, as those aren't really spooky games all that much.
There's a spooky segment.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were. I knew you were going to say that too.
It doesn't even specify which one has the spooky.
But I have quite a few games to go play throughout the spooky month. I'm going to start on this Tuesday with Zombies Ate My Neighbors because I feel like I like to do that once a year around the October time.
Classic.
It is a classic. Will I beat it? I don't know. I beat it the last time. Can I do it again? I have no idea. We'll see. It'll be an experience. Come watch. You'll
It
enjoy
could
it.
also work as a roguelike Friday game, now I'm thinking about it.
I guess,
is it
but
really roguelike?
it's,
I
the
feel like
thing.
it is.
The thing is that it plays exactly the same all the way through, so I don't really.
It's not
I guess
random.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not really
procedural.
Yeah.
You're right. Ow, my elbow.
Wednesday, I am not sure of yet of what I want to play for One Off Wednesday. I'll look into it. Thursday, I haven't also decided, but I can tell you I have a game to play without speed and my good pal Chris that involves golf that we
Wait,
talked
hold on.
about.
It's not everybody's golf, Kevin.
Okay.
Don't worry.
It's-
I was
That's
gonna
sometimes.
cry.
It's golf that's spooky in a way, really, when you think about it.
I mean, is it really
it-
even
is it Ribbit
spooky? Is it
King?
more of just disturbing?
That's kind of the same thing when you think of it.
I guess.
It's
Oh, you guys
unnerving.
Tell me after.
So
the thing. I want to know.
when we depending on when I'll have to go over Chris's schedule at another point. Maybe we'll play it on Thursday, or maybe we'll it'll be another day. The last time I remember we played it, I remember we were really confused throughout half of it.
Last time you played it,
I think
don't
it's
think I
on
was
my.
around for
I
it.
think it's on my YouTube channel.
Like years ago.
I want to
What?
know.
It's happening.
I want to know what you're playing.
I think I got stuck in a rock at one point.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't remember too much from it.
I don't actually know if it's like truly renowned as a great game.
No, I think
The first thing that shows up is Toadstool Tour single player, Ribbit King single player, and then everybody's golf. Oh wait, I have to put Carl.
I guess it's got a
Yeah.
6 out of 10 on Steam. So
Oh,
it's not
oh,
terrible.
oh! I got it. I found it. Should I say it?
I mean, really, when you think about it, I guess I did spoil it, huh? Oh well.
Yeah. Oh.
Come
Oh,
on.
He
hold
doesn't even know how to say the word. We got him.
No, it's just that I don't know because right when when you said you might as well say it, I got scared because Carl went silent because he's probably gonna get mad at me.
No, it's
It's
fine.
vertiginous, right?
It's
No, not even
vertiginous.
close.
What?
It's vertiginous.
Vertiginous.
What?
Vertiginous, also known as verti.
Hold on, let me get this. Oh yeah, I messed up. Sorry.
The description on Steam says it's Vertiginous Golf is a dystopian steampunk mini golf adventure game set in the skies above an alternate world where life on the ground is enveloped in permanent smog, constant darkness, and never-ending rain. To put it into
What the
perspective,
heck?
to put it into perspective of why this game is even weird to begin with, you do not just go through a menu and then load up a golf course. No. You start
What-
out in a street,
what
which
was
you
that?
then walk into a golf.
It's like a
I want to
store.
call it a store, but I don't really think it's even that. There's just like things around the store, and then there's a chair at the end, and you sit in the chair, and then all of a sudden you're playing golf.
No. It's presented as a store, and then you walk in.
What's
It's
that
a
noise?
what?
I'm hearing a. Is that?
That might be me laughing, but like you're in, there's a single room, and there are just 2 rows of chairs on both sides, and you sit in the chair, and it puts a thing on your head, and then it just zaps your dude's head, and it is so funny.
It'll be
I
great.
didn't know about the war part, though, if I'm being honest. I don't even know why Carl wanted to play. He's just like, hey, you want to play, vertiginous golf again? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Dude.
It's only a game for sesquipedalians apparently.
Guys, I just noticed this right now. It's 80% off on Steam right now. It is $1.99 if you want to buy this game.
Wow, what a deal.
Put the advertisement music back on.
Yeah,
Sponsored
you should have
Vertiginous Golf.
just
Dude,
advertised this game.
I can make an ad for vertiginous.
Carl, have you played Stanley Parable? It's not a. I wouldn't say that's a
Yeah,
hard game.
unfortunately, I have played the Stanley Parable. I don't.
The new one's coming out though, the deluxe.
Yeah, the
I'm
DLC. That's why I'm not playing it yet.
I'm excited because it has new endings, Carl.
Yeah, that's just that was the thing. That's why I didn't want to play Stanley Parable, because I know I've played the game and I've played plenty of the endings, so it's just like
8,
But the new endings seem interesting, so it's like
8,
8,
8.
8, and then we trap ourselves in the closet.
this was the wrong path, and Stanley knew this.
So Carl, I guess another question briefly. I just want to know because we're kind of already kind of spoiling things. Were any of the games I sent you a thing that you're gonna play this month? Because I went and searched a lot of games for Carl. I don't know if any of them got
Oh,
through.
Carl doesn't want to disappoint him.
Here,
It's fine.
That
I don't remember what games you sent me, But this is the big old list of what I have just kind of on the plan. It's not like a finite
hold on.
list. It's just
It's not letting me scroll.
whatever
there
I
you go.
have.
Uh
Some of the stuff I don't even have.
oh,
yet, so
oh
it's
no. Yeah, I sent you something. Okay. It's on there. I see it.
I'd have to
Yeah.
acquire the PAL version
Acquire.
of Luigi Mansion if I wanted to play that, which would mean, yeah. So
You're a collector. It'll be fine.
I'm seeing some stuff here. Oh my gosh, wait a second. Wait, what was this one again? Hold on, I gotta search this one. I hope not.
The themes of today's podcast are
Oh no.
Carl's musical and spoilers.
what?
Oh no.
What are you knowing about?
Carl, is that 2-player?
What?
The one in the Speedy Sundays tab? Not the second one, the first one. Is that 2-player? Because I didn't know that's true. Or am I just there?
let me, hold on.
I'd love to make a joke, but it would spoil it.
Yeah. Just so oh man, that game is not good. Please don't tell me it's 2-player so you don't have to get it from me and I have to play it too.
I don't even remember what it was.
Oh, I showed you a cutscene from The Best Friends. This might not. I can't. That doesn't spoil anything. He played a lot of horror games, and you said this is amazing. It was when it's like the janitor is like voice acting at you, and you have your kicks
Oh.
out, and it gives you the weapon.
I don't. Maybe this is 2-player or multiplayer. I think it is.
Oh Lord, I'll have to look into it.
No, it says single player.
Thank God. I'm just there for the ride.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
remember
yeah.
why. I think you suggested to me. I looked at it. I was like, "This is great. Let's play." And then I just kind of threw it on there and didn't really think much of it afterwards. So
I hope you guys are excited for that then, because I'm gonna have I'm for that one.
I don't know yet. We'll
Oh.
see what happens.
Okay. Oh yeah, Death Road to Canada would be good for Friday.
I have to get back into figuring out what I want to do.
Fridays, because
Write that
yeah,
down, write
you've been
that
out.
down.
Write that down. Write that down. Oh,
Do only the
He's
Dead or
pulverizing the
Restless
material.
levels in Spelunky.
genius. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's most of the week
That's-
as far as I know. I don't think there's much else to say. Do you have anything, guys? Have anything else to say?
I think my laughing will
yeah.
I think my laughing will if we are doing that, I hope that when it gets shown, you guys enjoy it, because I'm looking forward to it, and I'm also looking forward to Monster Hunter. Obviously,
Yeah.
that'll be happening. It's not a horror game, but
We can
turn
face
the
it.
black and white filter on. It's spooky.
The sepia tone or whatever. Or no,
Yeah.
film grain. That's what you need.
Yeah,
The Left 4 Dead effect.
Live on stream. Poor quality Monster Hunter. Chris, you have anything?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. Man, you're better than me at this.
All right, people. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. I will see you guys tomorrow. These two may or may not be there. I don't.
I'll be there at 8. I'll be seeing you.
But anyways, thanks for dropping by. And Speed's gonna, probably say some stuff. So goodbye.
No, how about Chris do it?
Goodbye!
Oh no, he said goodbye too. Now I gotta. Now Chris is gonna sit in silence and call me. It's gonna be awkward. I don't have anything. It's 11. Can I say a bad word? Oh no, it's darn late. Is that a bad word? Darn? Can I say that?
5 bits.
I have 25 bits. I donated 25 bits. That should work. It's in the bank.